Flow path and suppression must be considered together. When you start talking about where your water goes, and those of you that are concerned with steam, it's a very good concern. It's a very good question that you're asking. Because if you thought fans was bad, 25 years till we realize how fans work, I still don't think we know how our nozzles work. I still don't think we know definitively where our water goes and what it does. Which is why we continually have the answer of, well, I just need more flow, I just need more flow, I just need more flow. If I've got 2 windows of fire, clearly I needed a 2.5. No. Most of these fires can be put out with like 30 gallons per minute if it's applied in the right place. But how much do you have to fight to get to where the right place is? All of our experience, if we gain experience by doing, and you crawl into a house with zero visibility, you would open up your nozzle and start flowing it into the structure somewhere. Where's your water going? What's it doing? How much of it is actually being used for suppression? How much of it is cooling walls? How much of it's wasted? Do we know the answers to those things? Usually not. We pull up and you got fire coming out of somewhere. The immediate thing you want to do is you want to flow water into the fire. Well, if you got a room on fire and you got fire coming out and you flow water right into the fire, 95% of your water is hitting the back wall and falling straight to the ground. It's not putting on any burning fuel at all. You might knock the gases down, or you'll at least blow a nice hole right through the fire. But if you were to direct it off the ceiling and allow it to rain down onto the fuel that's burning, probably be a little more effective. If you see something burning and you actually put water onto it, you get more steam conversion, you put more fire out. We see this every day. It's not new. Well, how do flow paths combine with suppression? We're going to do an aggressive interior fire attack. Happens every day. Happens every day very successfully. You got a fire in this bedroom right here. You open a flow path between where the fire is, where the fire wants to go. You put yourself smack in there. If we don't put any water on the fire whatsoever, where's the fire going? Over top of you and out the front door. Depending on the mixture and what's burning, you may never see fire, and the first place that fire gets seen is actually at the front door behind you, where the fuel and the air mix and flash that space over with you in it, if you're not going to put water on smoke. So let's change the conversation to steam. As you flow water on this and you start producing steam, where's the steam going to go? It's going to follow the flow path, go from high pressure to low pressure. That low pressure is behind you. That steam is coming back over your head and coming down here. Are you going to push steam onto the victim? No. It's already a high pressure. This is a high pressure. You're not going to push the steam ahead into a high pressure. It's going to come to the low pressure behind you when you have a ventilation limited fire. If we want to minimize the amount of steam that we produce to cool the gas layer, to make the turn and put that room out, how do we teach our people to flow nozzles? Do you only teach them one thing? Do you teach them clockwise, whip it around? Do you teach them Z's, T's, inverted T's, U's, spell your name, wash the hypodermic needles away from your knees? Somehow that makes it in the books, because we're all getting stabbed in the knees every fire we go to, but there's never a flow path. So if you want to cool the overhead and not have steam come back over your head, what do? Keep that nozzle relatively steady, because you don't want to entrain a lot of air, because the more air you entrain, the more has to go in, the more that has to come out, and more steam's coming over your head. Anybody done an interior fire attack and been steamed? Okay, right? So steaming doesn't only happen on an exterior attack, so they can't pick and choose that battle. Now we've got a flow path opposite the hose line. Now, if we want the steam to move out of the structure to make things better, what do we want to do with our nozzle here to make sure the fire and the steam don't come back over us? Now you want to make a high pressure. Now you want to whip it around. Now you want to do your O's and your T's and your U's and everything else because you want things moving ahead of you. It's nothing but pressure. We're creating pressure with our hose line. And we're creating more pressure with our hose line than the fire's creating, so we make it go where we want it to go, not what it's going to do to us. We make it behave like we want it to. Are you going to push steam onto the victim? No. It's a high pressure. Now there's a flow path through that room. Where's the steam going to go? 3 ways. And if we make a high pressure here, it's going 2 ways. How do we make it not go this way? Well, we can close the door if we get there, but we can keep our stream relatively straight until we make this turn, and then we can whip it like a madman or woman and make it all go where we want it to go, entrain that air, and cool everything else. And then we gain the upper hand, and then we vent the crap out of the place, and we get the job done. Coordination. Now we've got an exterior attack. If we want to put water in here, are we going to push steam onto this victim and push heat into the victim? There's a high pressure. It's not going to go there. But if we want to let as much heat out as possible, you want to keep a tight stream off the ceiling. You can move it. Just don't whip it or open a fog pattern, because if you seal this up, the heat's not going to come out. You're just going to trap it in there. You're not going to push it, but you're going to trap it. Now, where's the steam going to go? 2 ways, right? It's going to want to come out here. So if you whip your nozzle in a circular pattern, or you open up a fog and you close this, then it's only going there. If you're a firefighter and you VES this back room here, you VEIS that back room, and this firefighter whips that nozzle around, is he going to push fire on him? No. Is steam going to go over that firefighter and make that person miserable? Damn right it is. Because that's the only place it can go. But if you keep the stream tight and straight, this is the path of least resistance. You can minimize any steam that goes in that direction. And oh, by the way, while you're doing that, you just took a 2,000 degree room and made it a 200 degree room. You know how much gases contract when you cool them 1,800 degrees? Many, many times. You might actually see heat and steam suck back into that room, because essentially you just created some vacuum by dropping the temperature, just like we do when that fire runs out of oxygen and the air can't make it to it, the gases contract, and all of a sudden you got no smoke showing. Same principle. How quickly can you get water on a 3rd-story wood frame structure? Yeah, pretty fast if you use a deck gun. So if it takes you 3 minutes, to get that line in place, what's that fire doing during that 3 minutes? Growing and making conditions worse for that victim. If there's a victim in there and you want to get them out because it is all about the victims, what's the best thing you can do? Get water on the fire as fast as possible. Can you be multitasking with your crew? Can one part of the crew be getting a line in place to do an interior attack while that deck gun, placed in the right way for the right amount of time, takes that fire from 2,000 degrees to 200 degrees? Yeah. Think about it.